Hello and welcome to the Can It Take a K26 CatPirate Special, thusly named because all of the blasters featured today were sent to me by one of my fans who goes by the name CatPirate, and I thought I'd do them all together as the end of the season special. So let's take a look at our first contestant. Our first contestant is the Tech 5. Now, I did not even know that the Tech 5 existed, but it turns out it does, and CatPirate sent me one. It is a 5-shot revolver and is basically Busby's equivalent to the Maverick. Its top prime, cylinder rotates on trigger pull, though it is much smoother and more reliable than the Maverick, I believe. Not particularly powerful, but let's see if it can take a K26. We've been surprised by some Busby stuff in the past, so let's take a look. Interesting. So unlike the Maverick, the Tech 5 is not reverse plunger. It's actually direct plunger, but it is indirect prime, which is generally never a good sign. It also has one of those hollow plunger rods, which is also never a good sign. It also has a very small plunger tube, which is never a good sign. Nope! K26 will not fit. How tragic. Well, let's button her back up. I can't get her all the way apart because of this handle piece, and I don't want to break it. Fortunately, I can get it open enough to get it out without taking that off. So, let's see if I can get it back in, though. Alright, that was a tragic no for the Tech 5. Plunger tube is just too small. On to the next contestant! Our next contestant is this Avengers Thing. It is also very clearly a Maverick knockoff, though not a very good one. The handle is distinctly smaller than a Maverick. The trigger, it also rotates on trigger pull, but is not very reliable about it. It also didn't fire darts. It fired tiny rockets with little fins, and rather than having a sealed barrel that the dart's being fired off of, it has tiny dart posts that they were attached to. You might be able to fire regular darts on it. I actually haven't tried. Give me a dart! You cannot. They won't actually fit over those posts. So, who knows? But we're going to see if it can, in fact, take a K26. These off-brands have surprised us in the past. Well, it's reverse plunger. So that's a thing. Its return spring has been mangled. Aha! What do you know? A bit of K26. That is exactly the right length. Okay, well, it fit. Let's see if it'll catch. It caught! I'm scared, Paul. Huh! Now if only I had the darts to fire off of it. Well, that's just wacky fun. Do I have anything that might work? Well, I've managed to get it to take these darts. I think they're X-shot darts. Come with the eliminator. And they will fit over the post enough and actually get in there. It doesn't like catching. I mean, it technically will, but it's iffy. And the rotation mech is so horrible. And, yeah, it gets about 5 feet of range. But, technically, yes, the Avenger Thing can take a K26. Who knew? On to the next contestant. Our next contestant is one I've been holding on to for a while, looking for the right chance to use it. It is the Sentinel-1. This is, I don't know if it was originally G.I. Joe or something similar. An action figure clearly fits in here. The cockpit is missing. We're missing one fin. But it is, in fact, a 6-shot revolver. It also rotates on trigger pull, but it is direct prime. or at least rear prime. Doesn't have a particularly long prime, but it has a solid prime. It also has dart holders under the wings, which is really cool because they look like rockets when they're loaded in there, which is pretty groovy. I don't actually know if it fires from the top or the bottom. It fires from the top, and it actually isn't half bad. The real trick is going to be getting this thing open. So let's see if the Sentinel-1 can take a K26. So it is technically somewhat indirect, but it's a fairly stout indirect mechanism. Oh, okay, I see how it works. All right, let's keep going. Well, I'm no longer as confident about the nature of the indirect prime, but we're gonna try it anyway. K26 will fit, and thankfully it has a removable plunger head. Well, I'm gonna put this one down as a kind of. K26 will fit, and the catch will take it, but the priming mechanism is entirely too flimsy. This part is not well connected to the actual priming rod. Now, if you were to make it direct, like run a steel rod from here directly to the back of the priming rod, so that you were pulling on that instead of having it the way it is, where it's two parts and then this part slides forward again, make it so it pulls back and stays back, like on the Night Finder or the any of its knockoffs. Then you probably could get it. However, it appears to shoot horrifically, and I'm not sure why. It would take a lot more modification than I'm going to be doing for this episode, but we'll put it down as a maybe, because I think it could with the right fairly simple modifications. It would just take some fabricating that I'm not going to go into today. So we're going to put it back together and move on to the final contestant. Alright, that was a no in its current state, but a probably with some modifications. But since I believe CatPirate actually wanted this blaster back on account of its really very cool and unique, I don't want to make any major structural changes that may or may not break the blaster. I'm fairly certain I could make the changes non-destructively, so if it didn't end up working, I could revert it back to its natural state. But I want to discuss it with him first. So we're going to put it down as a maybe for now and move on to the next contestant. Our final contestant for the CatPirate special is very fittingly the Buzzbee Pirate Blaster. The Pirate Blaster is one of my favorite blasters just for the cosmetics. I do pirate recreation along with medieval recreation and zombie recreation and all the rest of it. And this gives me a good blaster to use in that system that doesn't look like a blaster. It looks like a flintlock pistol. It even primes using the handle. And then it actually goes forward when you fire it. It's really a neat design. It's tragically not a very robust design. And they're not very accurate and don't have a lot of range. But they're meant to be a flintlock pistol, so they shouldn't. This one was actually sent to me by CatPirate. He sent two in box, one for me and one for Walcom. And he sent this one, which was broken when he sent it, but I have fixed it. I also have 4 more of these. Seamstress at Arms gave me a pair for my birthday, and my little sister gave me a pair for Christmas. So the next pirate event, which is this weekend, I will be festooned with pistols, and it will be magnificent. So let's get this thing open and see if it can take a K26. He signed it, CatPirate. All right, well, you can see the internals, and the downside of this blaster is it's not very robust. They actually break fairly easily, as this one did. And what broke was actually the part that kept the hammer from going back forward all the way when it was primed. Well, let's take a look at this. I think the answer's fairly obvious, but evidence is needed. No, K26 will, in fact, not fit. And even if it would, I would not be willing to actually test it in this thing because it would break, and these things are fantastic, and I don't want to break them. They will break under their stock spring load eventually, just because while the design is really nifty, it's not terribly structurally sound. So there you have it. Let's put it back together. Alright, that is a no for the Pirate Blaster, but a yes for it being super, super cool. One war loadout I have genuinely considered is a Captain Xavier, because Captain Xavier was originally a pirate. A Captain Xavier loadout, but in all of my pirate gear. So, festooned with pistols and with, swashbucklery melee weapons and just go get horrifically shot by the modern people with their machine guns. But I think it would be a lot of fun. So, we'll see if I will do that in the future. Alright, let's recap. Alright, for those of you keeping score at home or who just skipped to the end to see the results, that was a no for the Tech 5. That was a yes for the Avengers Blaster. That was a... We're gonna go with a possibly for the Sentinel 1, pending additional modifications, and that was a no for the Pirate Blaster. So, this is the one that really surprised me. This one I was pretty sure was going to be able to take it. That one, this one I knew couldn't. So, if you have any suggestions for blasters you'd like to see next season, I've got a bunch of episodes already lined up. Hopefully going to be getting back into more actual Nerf blasters. I've gotten a few that people have requested. If there's any out there that you really like to see, go ahead and put them in the suggestion box down below. You can also contact me. All my contact information is down there. And there's one last personal note. Whoever made off with my Ravonics at the Fort Borst War this last weekend, if you watch my channel, I'd like it back. That's a fairly rare blaster. I was really looking forward to using it in the war, but when I went to grab it to take it out into the field, it had wandered off. And this rather annoys me, as it's the second blaster that has been stolen from me at wars since I moved here. And I'd really like that to stop happening. So, whoever you are, my mailing address is in the description box. If you watch my channel, mail it back to me or bring it to the next war and apologize. One of the two, but don't steal things from people at wars. That is what ruins any community, is people doing that kind of scummy thing. So, give it back. Don't take people's stuff. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching.